McCarthy. Take the handoff. And Alec Manis is going to throw a pick.
They give it to Cora. Up back. Cora. Touchdown, Wolverines.
Roman Wilson does it again. Boy, finds some daylight. He got some speed and some blockers.
Outside. Turns the corner. Blake Cora down the sideline.
Looking over the middle. Caught.
Touchdown, Wolverines!
McCarthy extends the play, now using legs. McCarthy a first down.
Woo!
Yeah! Woo!
Yeah! Tonight, sign stealing is a thing of the past. That's right, because the NCAA is introducing the 2-minute rules, sideline tablets, forgot what the word was there for a second, and helmet comms, which come in handy when you're trying to talk to people. Also,
don't get sacked.
also, ladies and gentlemen, football fans across the southeastern Michigan. Michigan is the NFL 2024 draft champions. Or you might also say, pardon?
Hang the banner.
Hang the banner. The 2024 NFL draft champions. They've done it. And will you be rooting for J.J. McCarthy when he puts on a distinctly different winged helmet?
No.
That's what we're going to talk about tonight. We've got those stories on tap. Antoine is here. Connor Stallions is here. Got to thank you guys. It may just be the four of us because there's a whole bunch of stuff going on tonight. Michigan Voice of College Football is also doing a show right now as we speak because of some John, I think, is going out of town tomorrow, so he wasn't going to be able to do the show. So he's doing that tonight. So we're not competing with them. It just so happens that tonight schedules are crossing, and that's just the way it is. So this is what I suggest. Put up 2 screens and watch Voice of College Football over here and Big Ten Team Rivalry Show over here, and everybody's good. Everybody's happy.
Yes, but watch
Right?
theirs on mute. No, I'm just kidding. Well, don't put us on. Just listen to both of us at the same time.
At the same time, it's possible.
It's good for your brain. It helps. It's there's science. There's science there.
There's science behind it. There's always science.
Yep.
Also, Mac, are we ready with the
thing?
The memberships? Are we ready with those? Don't listen, everybody.
We've got more good news.
We've got more good news. Okay, we'll get to that in just a little bit here.
Oh, all right. Well, thanks.
No, you're right. I'm sorry. We should do that now because now you can join the Big Ten Team Rivalry. Mac, take it away. Memberships.
Yeah. So last week we had really good news about joining up with the Voice of College Football to provide you, the YouTube customer, more value. Now you get to pay for it.
It's capitalism, folks. It's the way it works.
It's capital. Get used to it. We're going to take your money and in return give you some seriously low quality but really funny emojis. Yeah.
We've got Crying Ryan Day.
We've
got Harbaugh.
Mm-hmm.
I forget what's
Harbaugh's like. It's his like kind of look, and it's got so much hate. SMH underneath or shaking my head or whatever that is. Yeah.
Oh, they both work. We've also got the hammer.
We do have the hammer.
So,
the hammer's the best part.
Anytime you want to drop the hammer in the chat, you can do that. And then we also have the badges, the standard YouTube. What is it? 1 month, 2 month, 6 month, 2 years, 4 years badges. So you can show off to everybody how long you've been a member here. And we appreciate everybody being out there, everybody in the chat. Buckeyes Battle Cry is here too. Hi, Buckeyes Battle Cry. Good to see you.
What up, man? We're
welcome
on getting them on the show too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Super excited about that. That'll be great.
Welcome to the Big Ten Team Rivalry Show. We're not insiders. We're not professionals. I have to go through the disclaimer. We're just fans who love to talk about football. This is what we do here. We pick a topic, we give our opinions, and then we ask you to give your opinions. And you can drop them right there in the chat. We're all football fans repping our teams, so rep yours. I am your host, Cliff. Web developer, professional web developer, amateur woodworker. With me, as always, is laughing Mac. Mac, how you doing over there?
We've upped our game, so up yours. Oh, I'm really immature. Hi, I'm good. I'm good.
Good.
Yep.
All right. We are also on a road to 1,000 subs. I just saw we hit 790 as the show started, so that's pretty awesome. If you want to be part of the Team Rivalry movement, as we've said before, we don't know what it is exactly, but we're here for it, and you can be here for it. You guys are here for it. I think everybody out there, everybody in the chat is subscribed, but as always, like every channel out there, what is it, like 60, 70% of the audience watches but doesn't subscribe. So if that's you, subscribe, and you will put us over 1,000, and that would be awesome. And that is free. That's a good deal when you think about it. You don't even have to think about it all that long, but you know.
We thought about it for you, and we decided you should do it.
Oh, what did I? Oh, yeah. So, I also wanted people. So, in the chat, I wanted you to tell us with all the options you've got to watch tonight. I think Steven Crowder is doing a special. Tim Pool does his regular show. Voice of College Football, Michigan Voice of College Football, is doing a special live stream tonight, as I said, because John's going somewhere tomorrow and can't do the show. So, drop in the chat. Why are you watching us? No, that's not how I should say that.
No, it's not. Nice job, dude.
Thank you for watching us. As always, we appreciate it.
Now give us your money. All right, we should probably talk some football.
But first, we have the community poll. Now, our poll this week was on Deacon Hill, the Iowa QB backup, who had to take over last year after Cade McNamara. Oh, what did he tear his ACL?
Yeah, had surgery and everything.
Oh, man. So we put a poll out there because Young Hill here has now entered the transfer portal, and they're asking what it means for the Hawkeyes at the Des Moines Register. We know what it means. They're looking for a quarterback.
They should be.
Hill transferred to Iowa from Wisconsin ahead of the 2023 season. It was a difficult situation after McNamara was injured during the Michigan State game because, and this is a quote from Tyler Tackman's article here, a substantial amount of Iowa's offense hinged on McNamara's ability to stay healthy. Which you would think that would be pretty common for all of them, but they decided that was a good idea to point out.
Just so you guys know, the quarterback is an important position on the field, especially when the offense has the ball.
Particularly the offense. Under Hill, no Lord of the Rings pun intended, Iowa's offense sputtered, but still won the Big Ten West. Of course, we know how that turned out. And they finished 10-4 overall, largely in part due to Iowa's, and say it with me, dominant defense. Right? Because that's what Iowa has, is a dominant defense. Yes, Iowa wins games, literally, with their defense.
Yes.
Yes.
How many games did their own defense outscore their offense last year? Wasn't it like
too many? Too many.
It was at least more than one.
So Mac put up the poll, Iowa QB Deacon Hill just entered the transfer portal. So I ask Michigan fans, do we want him? You put an LOL on there just to dig it in a little bit more. Out of 100 votes, 77 of them were ha 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 ha.
And I felt horrible right after posting this too, because I did not mean for this to be a dig against Deacon Hill as much as it is against Brian Ferentz. I had the image of Brian Ferentz in my head as I was writing this, and then I posted it and immediately thought, should I take that down? That's kind of mean. Oh no, I didn't mean it against Deacon Hill. Deacon Hill, it's not his fault. He wasn't at a program that understands the importance of scoring points in a competition. So
we had one guy, Scooby-Doo fan, who we haven't seen in a while, so it was good to hear from him.
Yeah.
He said, yeah, number 2. Wait, what was number 2? Number 2 is ha 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 ha.
Okay, so about half as high.
Yeah. He'll be good at a G5 FCS school, potentially even good at a P5 school that wants an experienced backup. Everyone thinks he sucked, but he did what he was asked to at Iowa. Iowa doesn't want 40 to 50 for 500 yards and 6 touchdowns. They want 15 to 30 for 100 to 150 yards and a touchdown. Anything to win the game is all they want.
Yeah. Honestly, I think last year Iowa would have salivated over the idea of a consistent 100-yard passer. I honestly think that punting is a part of their offensive strategy. I seriously think that that's the case. There's still Kirk Ferentz is still playing the field position game like it's the 1950s. Like, anyway,
Yeah.
all right,
Anyway,
yeah. Either way, I have notes on this actually, so I'll go through it real quick. Yeah, either way, it's not Deacon Hill's fault. You know, he was inexperienced. He was being coached by, I wouldn't be surprised, the statistical worst offensive coordinator in the nation. Okay. Like, I hate to be hard on Brian Ferentz, but they get paid a ton of money to put up with my armchair coaching crap. So I don't care. They still won the West, which on the one hand is, impressive, but it also just goes to show you why divisions needed to go the way of the dodo bird, which is away. Also, I think it was like 2 or 3 games that the defense scored more points than the offense, but whatever. Anyway,
was it?
I guess what was actually surprising about this though was according to Tyler Talkman, I think this is where you got that article.
Yeah.
So Deacon Hill was actually getting first team reps this spring because Cade McNamara is still trying to heal from injury. They do have a redshirt freshman quarterback, Marco Lainez, but he is even less experienced. He's only attempted 7 passes in college. They're getting a true freshman in James Reeser, recruiting, but obviously he's just starting. So why is Deacon Hill transferring? Unless, of course, he just wants to be a part of a competent offense, which is entirely possible. Or he went from, or it looks like maybe Cade McNamara is progressing from injury fast enough to where Deacon Hill thinks that he's going to end up having to play the bench this year. And after having started most of last year, he doesn't want to do that. So I guess I get it, but I don't know. A part of me also wonders if maybe he's just sick of Iowa fans blaming him for the offensive failures when, really it was just a slew of offensive injuries and the fact that Brian Ferentz has absolutely zero idea how to run a competent offense. So,
yeah, it's got to be tough to be on the offense at Iowa with the defense.
Yes.
The way it is. Yeah.
Yes.
Jumping over to the chats here. Connor has me confused because he says y'all are less boring than everyone else is.
He corrected it.
But that's right though, because then he says aren't less boring. So that means we're more boring.
He meant so less was included in the spell check. So what he meant was y'all aren't boring like the rest of them.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Connor. I appreciate that. Buckeyes Battle Cry agrees with you about the punter. I think you just mentioned the punter.
Yeah. It's all about the punter. Hey, what? Okay, Caleb Williams gets drafted to the Bears, right? First overall pick. Tragic. Just tragic. Don't understand what they're thinking because a guy should not paint his fingernails pink, unironically. It's Halloween. I get it. Okay? But in any case, Caleb Williams then immediately texts, what's the punter's name? Tory Taylor?
At Iowa?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I have to look it up.
The punter's name. Crap. But anyway, he texts him, just so you know, you're not going to be punting very much here. Like,
oh, wow.
I know. On the one hand,
well,
I'm like,
I guess that's good, but
that's cool. That means that they think they're going to be doing well. On the other hand, I'm like, are you trying to tell him that he's out of a job soon or something? I don't know. It just kind of felt like, yeah.
It is Tory Taylor, yeah.
Tory Taylor. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It just felt a little awkward, but I don't really like Caleb Williams very much. So that might be why. I might be biased.
Yeah. Connor says Iowa literally scored 0 points in the last 8 quarters, outscored 61-0. Yeah.
Ouch. Nothing
in that amazing, fantastic Big Ten championship game that we sort of paid attention to.
I was more focused on the conversation we were having and also the niece and nephew running around the hotel room and all that than I was on that game. I almost fell asleep. Holy crap.
I know.
Man, and it's not Michigan's fault either. Iowa just didn't put up a fight, and Michigan was just like, all right, I guess we'll hang on to the ball for 5 minutes, and then we'll punt, and maybe we'll score eventually. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's always fantastic to have a shutout, but you forget how boring a shutout can be.
Unless your team is putting up 60-some-odd points. Then it's a lot of fun.
Well, sure, yeah.
Yeah.
But, why risk it if you don't have to, I guess.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah. Connor says only if Iowa had an offense that had a pulse. Only if.
Yeah, they might have
Yep.
scored 3 points against Michigan.
Yeah. This question, I'm not sure. Can you answer this one? What was worse, Iowa offense or USC defense? What was worse to watch? What do you think?
Wow.
Didn't watch
That's
a lot of USC. Probably no USC, I think.
I watched the USC Notre Dame game, and that's not exactly. I mean, Notre Dame was good last year, but not great. But USC's defense just crumbled.
Yeah.
This is like asking what happens when a totally stoppable object hits a totally movable object. A totally stoppable force hits a totally movable object. There we go.
Everything keeps going, I guess. Yeah.
It's like no one wants to do well. I don't know. I'm going to say USC's defense because at least Iowa showed up in their conference championship game. Well, they didn't show up in the game. At least they made it to the conference championship game.
Right. All right. Let us take a look at the viewer comment for this week. Our comment for this week is a lengthy breakdown of the QB battle at Michigan. This was from Woodshed Moments, who we haven't heard a lot from him. But this comment, he really dug into this one.
Mm-hmm.
Alex Orji will win out. He is the QB for the type of offense they are running today. Dual threat is it. He's literally, and I'm not sure exactly what he means by this. I know Orji's a big guy. So he's literally the 900-pound gorilla in the living room after playing Alabama and realizing that Michigan had their own Jalen Milroe. Yes. The discussion is done. He is what the doctor ordered. Now there's way too much hype over Davis Warren. He's not dual threat. He's not even mobile. At least JJ was mobile. When people talk about gunslingers, that's the minimum criteria you're going to need just to show up. We saw that from Warren during the spring game. I'm not down on the kid. He's just not what the doctor ordered. He either needs to find a way to be mobile at least. You can't rush, but if he could be mobile, I could say at that point, yeah, he's showing that he wants to compete because he knows where the standard is. At that point, I say, fine, let him compete. Part 2. Jalen Denegal is going to be the only fly in the ointment for Davis Warren because these two are the same type of quarterback.
Pocket passer
type, right? Okay. Which is almost the death knell in today's game. Death knell. And Jaden Davis is new, so he is going to warm a bench for at least a season. Quarterbacks, I actually like Davis. One, he's just not the antidote for now, unless he shows he can put some of that over-touted athleticism to actually being mobile or better. I think his tenure is going to get him the number 2 spot, though. What he is not going to be as a starter, I believe that pretty much fell in Orji's lap, and he is ready to rumble right now. M go blue. Now, I would love to see Orji be the starter, but you got to let the competition play out. Mac, what's your thought on this one?
So, I will say that it is wild to refer to JJ McCarthy as simply mobile. The dude was everywhere. No, I'm kidding. Well, he was, but that's not what I take issue with. So here's my response, I guess. I will say that Alex Orji and Davis Warren represent 2 very different styles of offense. In my humble opinion, the only thing that you lose with Warren that you would have with Orji is the RPO offense. Now, I understand that that's a big deal, but hear me out here. If the RPO is ran properly, then it's a super deadly weapon. And if Michigan's O-line is even close to as good as last year's and Orji is consistent as the quarterback, then we could be looking at an offense that scores in the high 40s every single game, except maybe for Oregon and Ohio State. But Michigan's offensive line is generally one that even if the opposing team's defense knows that Michigan is going to run, they still can't stop it. I mean, just ask Penn State.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, if Davis Warren is the quarterback, the defense knows there's essentially a 50-50 shot he hands the ball to Donovan Edwards. That's fine because they still have to stop him. And that's the point of a football ideology centered around physicality, which Michigan absolutely is. Sherrone Moore keeps saying smash. We're going to play smash football. So to me, even if you know Michigan's likely to run on a certain down, you still have to stop it. And that's not easy. So
Mhm.
I guess all of that is to say that if Davis Warren is the guy, that's fine. Because at one point, Cade McNamara was the guy and he won Michigan a Big Ten championship. But obviously, J.J. McCarthy and that mobile offense and all that got them the national championship. So if Alex
Yeah.
Orji is the next J.J. McCarthy, fine by me. Or even the next Jalen Milroe, fine by me. If Davis Warren happens to be a slightly more mobile version of Davis Warren or Cade McNamara, then again, fine by me.
I mean, Orgy seems pretty mobile to me.
Yes. Oh,
Well,
he
that's
absolutely is.
yeah. You're not saying he's not mobile. I guess what I like about him too is that not only is he mobile, but he's big and strong enough that he can shake off the attackers too.
Yeah, I mean he's big, he's mobile, he can basically, I mean, he can out physical defenders, out
Hmm.
physical, out, you know, he can knock
Yeah.
them over. I don't know.
Yep.
I don't want to knock Davis Warren for just being a pocket passer, because Michigan isn't a team that has needed to evolve to the next level of offense, or at least
Mhm.
a fully modern day offense where you've got like the Lincoln Rileys of the world where their quarterback is never in the pocket. And on any play or every play, it's a question as whether he's just going to take off with it or throw it all the way down the field. Because Michigan really, what's the word for when you prioritize? Geez, Michigan prioritizes the offensive line over the other positions on the
Mhm.
offense. Now, it's not to say that we don't want really good receivers, we don't want a really good quarterback, but we had JJ McCarthy. And I don't think we even used half of his potential of what
Mhm.
he's capable of to win the national title. So it's
Because they didn't need to.
because they didn't
But
need to.
yeah.
And that's not even to say that they had a cakewalk to the national championship either. I mean, certainly the non-conference game, the non-conference schedules, that was a cakewalk. Okay,
Yeah.
the early Big Ten schedules, that was a cakewalk. Rutgers, Indiana, Michigan State, Minnesota, cakewalk. Ohio State, Iowa to an extent, their defense anyway. Penn State, no, those are good defenses. Penn State was the number one run defense when Michigan
Mhm.
went into Happy Valley. And it just shows you what physical football can do to a defense that's supposed to be the best at stopping the run. If your offensive line is better, it doesn't matter. And then Michigan goes on and retires Nick Saban and then beats Washington, the supposed best offense in the Pac 12. And maybe they were, but against Michigan's defensive line, they absolutely weren't. Why did Michael Penix throw those 2 interceptions? Because when you put him under pressure, he gets erratic with the ball, as does any quarterback. Kyle McCord is a slightly mobile pocket passer. Pressure the quarterback and he'll throw an interception. So if your
Mhm.
line is better, it doesn't really matter.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong here, but for like a pocket passer is good and but they're dependent on their O line keeping the pocket from collapsing, right?
Yeah.
Because it doesn't make a difference if you're a pocket passer if your O line can't keep the pocket steady or stable.
Yeah. I mean, if you've got literally a second, if you snap the ball and then a second later you've got defensive linemen on top of you, then yeah, no.
Yeah. So then you've got to be mobile. You've got to be able to shake off defenders.
Or
You
you have to do play design that is specifically meant to get the ball out of the pocket fast. I mean,
Mhm.
that's what one of the service academies does, I think, is they one of them runs the triple option a whole bunch, and then another one like
Air
snaps.
Force. Air
Air
Force
Force.
runs that triple option.
I think Army runs something similar too. But like there are teams that they know they don't have the size needed to keep up. So what they do is they design their plays to move so quickly that they can just kind of chop away at you for a little bit and hopefully wear down the defense. So I mean, if you snap the ball and get the ball out of the pocket within a second, you're good. It doesn't matter how quickly the defense gets there because you've got the ball out of the pocket. The problem is that then you have to make sure that it's a complete pass. If the defense starts playing up a little bit, then you've got to start figuring out ways to attack the middle of the field, but that takes more time to develop. So there's a catch there.
Yeah. Let me grab a couple comments here. Antoine said, what people don't realize is when Michigan runs that RPO with Orgy, they would have to put another person in the box to account for him and have Orgy play adds another person they have to account for. Okay.
Yeah, no, what he's saying is that if Orgy is a run threat, then a defense has to put more men in the box to stop either, because they don't know where the ball is going, right? So if it's an RPO, then on every play, he has the option to run or pass or take off himself, basically.
Yeah.
So the defense never really knows where the ball is going. So the defense has to prepare for simultaneously a run, and then they've got to make sure that the linebackers are prepared for a potential pass, but then they have to bring someone extra into the box to cover the quarterback, to spy the quarterback. So he's right. You have to put another player in the box to take care of that. That's why it's so difficult to defend if the offense is running it properly.
Connor has a couple here. Maryland is always an annoying team to play.
Yes, they.
Yes, and that's largely because you never know what Maryland you're going to get, right? Because they can come out and give you a hard time, or they can fold,
or they can give you a scary first half and then fold.
Right. Yeah.
But either way, they're a talented team and they're well coached, so you never know.
Yeah. Yep. Connor also says greatest pocket passers ever: Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, Drew Brees. Always had top 5 O-lines and took like 1.5 seconds to get rid of the ball. It also neutralizes the rushers as well. Yeah, that's a key there. Get rid of that ball as fast as you possibly can, provided it's going to a receiver.
Yeah.
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 Yep. But yeah, absolutely. All right. Let us dig into our first story. We want to recap some of that NFL draft. As I said, Michigan is your 2024 NFL draft champions, which I love to say that. I think it's just awesome that, we get the 2023 college national champions, and then they go in and they get 13 out of 18 drafted, which was more than any other team in the NFL draft. Number 2 was Texas at 11.
Yeah.
I believe, and then Alabama at 10. Actually, there was a few of them at 10.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they also set a school record, beating 11 drafted in 2017. It's also the 5th time in program history with 5 or more drafted. So, yeah, the 2023 National College Champs are now the 2024 NFL Draft Champs, and that's just awesome. We're going to take a quick peek here. Whoops, as soon as I find my cursor, take a quick peek here at where these guys went. So, Mac, I'm going to read them off. You give us a quick comment. So J.J. McCarthy, round 1, pick 10, goes to the Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah, I'm happy for him. I just wish it weren't Minnesota.
Well, like I said in the short, it would have been cool from a nostalgia perspective if he had gone to the Chargers. But it sounds like he really wanted to go to the Vikings, and apparently Harbaugh even talked to him about it, and he told Harbaugh that he wanted to go to the Vikings to be coached by, what's the guy's name?
Can't remember, but I know who you're talking about.
Kevin O'Connell.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Roman Wilson, round 3, pick 84 to the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, Roman Wilson, or the Pittsburgh Steelers just signed Russell. That guy, what is his name?
Oh, from the Seahawks?
Yeah. Shoot.
Russell Wilson.
Thank you. Man, names. I tell you what.
I'm surprised I remembered.
Yeah. Me too. Yeah, they just signed Russell Wilson. I didn't realize that. So that's going to be interesting. They're kind of retooling their offense. I feel like I'm still kind of stuck thinking about the Pittsburgh Steelers in the that guy who used to play quarterback for him, Ben Roethlisberger. Back in Ben Roethlisberger days, and now they're getting a quarterback that can run, and they've got Roman Wilson who's really fast. So they're kind of doing up their offense a little differently.
Yep, not Roman Wilson.
Yeah, Roman Wilson.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I'm sorry.
It's Russell Wilson,
Russell Wilson. Yeah.
and then Roman Wilson's the receiver.
Oh, gotcha. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry. I got stuck on Russell Wilson. I forgot about Roman Wilson. All right. Chris Jenkins, round 2, pick 49, Cincinnati Bengals.
Sweet. Yeah, they released a photo of him doing like this sort of pose with the Wolverine claws coming out of his fists. That was dope.
Nice.
That would be awesome. If that were me, I'd have that as my phone background.
Yep. Junior Colson is going to the Los Angeles Chargers. He was round 3, pick 69.
That was really cool. He said he was so excited because Harbaugh, he kept picking Junior Colson. He said Junior Colson was like one of his favorite players or something like that. And Junior Colson, apparently, after he got the call, he just kind of turned to his family or somebody and said, "He picked me again. He picked me again. That's amazing." And I'm just like, yeah, that's really cool. That was really heartwarming. Oh, I like that.
Yeah, that's cool. Mike Sanderstill, one of the key players of the 2023 team, is going to the Washington Commanders, round 2, pick 50.
First off, it's the Redskins. It will always be the Redskins. You can't change my mind. Secondly,
I heard, before you go into anything else, I heard that there is a tribe in Washington that is trying to sue the Commanders to change their name back to the Redskins for financial reasons because they were able to use the Redskins logo for merchandising.
oh, so
And they
was
saw it as they actually saw it as something honorable for their tribe too. So anyway, carry on.
I tell you what.
Yep.
Anyway, yeah, whatever. They suck.
Blake Corum, Blake the Great,
Hey,
is going just down the road from the Chargers to the Los Angeles Rams. He went in round 3, pick 83. What do you think?
It was really cool. The Los Angeles Rams posted a picture of him and said, Blake Corum, more like Blake Coram. So,
Yeah, it was a dad joke. I thought it was lame.
their social media marketer got fired shortly after that.
Shortly, yeah. Zach Zinter going to the Cleveland Browns. He went in round 3, pick 85.
Yeah, I feel like Ohio felt really bad for breaking his leg, so they picked him. He's a first-round pick if he doesn't break his leg, by the way. I'm going to die on that hill.
Yep.
Yeah.
AJ Barner is going to the Seattle Seahawks. He went round 4, pick 121.
AJ Barner, I mean that's fine. I like him though. I mean he had some issues with pass protection, but he also made the key block that got Blake Corum the winning touchdown in the Rose Bowl. So I think he's still got a bright future ahead of him. He just needs to figure out how to pass block because I don't know if you've noticed lately, but the NFL really likes passing.
Yeah. And you know what? I should have put a line here because AJ Barner and everybody ahead of him are actually drafted ahead of Tom Brady, who went in round 6, pick 199. So everybody after is now after Tom Brady, just to give you a little frame of reference of what it takes to be a GOAT. Jalen Harrell, Tennessee Titans, round 7, pick 252.
I don't know why I felt like he should be. I think Connor Stallions even said this. Yeah, Jalen Harrell is a 7th-round pick. Dude is a big moment, or he's surprised. I was too. I was surprised Jalen Harrell was a 7th-round pick. I thought he would have gone sooner, but
yep,
whatever. That happens.
You know what? I've got one out of order here. Trevor Keegan, round 5, should be a couple places up, but he is going to the Philadelphia Eagles, round 5, pick 172.
That's amazing. Okay, so I saw a comparison made on Twitter, and they had a picture of Travis Kelce, Jason Kelce. Jason Kelce, who is Travis Kelce's brother, who just retired from the Philadelphia Eagles. He was at one of Travis Kelce's games. Travis Kelce obviously plays for the Chiefs. He's Taylor Swift's boyfriend. And Jason Kelce was caught on camera hanging out of a window, shirtless, downing a beer, and then holding the can up and crushing it and screaming like a banshee. It was awesome, and it was manly. And I aspire to be that manly one day. Trevor Keegan did the exact same thing during Michigan's national championship parade. So that's a great culture fit right there. Great culture fit. I love it. Great job.
All right, let me back up one. Michael Barrett is going to the Carolina Panthers. He was taken in round 7, pick 240.
Michael Barrett had some good tackles during the Ohio State game, so they're getting a good defensive player there.
Ladarius Henderson down to the Houston Texans, round 7, pick 249.
Hey, so CJ Stroud gets another Michigan player on the team. Maybe that can make him even better.
And then we got Cornelius Johnson headed over to the Los Angeles Chargers. He's the second pick for Harbaugh. He went in round 7, pick 253.
I love it. Justin Herbert's going to love having him to throw to. He's going to be a deep threat. That's going to be awesome.
So that's the 13 that were drafted. Now we're going to look at the other 5 who went undrafted but were picked up immediately as, what do we call that, undrafted free agents. We have Trente Jones going to the Green Bay Packers.
Boo. But also good for him.
That's true. We don't like Green Bay any more than Minnesota around here.
Even less, I think.
Probably, yeah. Drake Nugent is going all the way out to San Francisco to the 49ers.
All right.
Josh Wallace. Oh, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, he's going to be with Jake Moody, and that's cool, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Josh Wallace is going to the Los Angeles Rams.
I think the Los Angeles Rams are going to be low-key really good next year. I'm just putting that out there. That's where Stafford is at, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, he's out at the Rams too, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, man. Stafford is the quarterback and Blake Corum as the running back? Oh,
wow. Yeah, I didn't think about that.
I didn't think about that either. Oh, man, they're going to be dangerous. The NFL might be really interesting this year. I'm excited.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hadn't thought of that. That's going to be a great matchup.
Yeah.
Especially with I just forgot his name. Who's the quarterback?
Matthew Stafford.
Wow. Bing.
Man.
Just right out of my head.
Did a whole lot of research for everyone not in the NFL.
Yeah, he was only in Detroit for 15 years. But the guy's got one of those rocket arms where he just it's like a trigger and he just launches it. And to have Blake Corum at the other end of that, yeah, that's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah.
Braden McGregor is going over to the New York Jets.
Nice.
All right.
I don't know. Every time I think the New York Jets, I think Zach Wilson. And that's kind of a bummer for them. And then Aaron Rodgers, and that's an even bigger bummer for them. So,
yeah.
Sorry, New York. Your football
and Harbaugh's third pick was Carson Barnhart going over to the Los Angeles Chargers.
Carson Barnhart, he's the one that had, I think, issues with pass protection. But he was really good with run blocking, which, with Harbaugh being the head coach, kind of makes you wonder about their game plans.
Yeah.
If he Super Bowl,
that's the next story. Sorry.
Yeah, no, you're fine. If he Super Bowl, because the NFL is going to pass first, basically. I mean, it's been pass first for a while, but they really like slinging the ball around. If he ends up winning the Super Bowl by having a run to pass ratio of anything more than 50-50, I'm going to probably die laughing. Because everybody's giving him credit. Oh, he doesn't let his quarterbacks throw the ball. When has he ever needed to? The guy wins championships with offensive schemes born out of the Depression era. And that's why that scheme was born. They were trying to how should we play offense? It's 1930s and everybody's sad. How should we play offense? I don't know. Why don't you just give it to the kid and let him run or something?
Let me grab a couple of chats. Backing up about the Commanders there, Antoine agrees. The Indians didn't really have a problem with the name Redskins. It was the social justice warriors. Yeah. Indeed, it was. I don't know how many of you guys are actually from the area here, but what was it, about 30 years ago? 25 years ago? I don't know. It was a while ago. Eastern Michigan University used to be the Hurons. And a lawyer came along and said, that's offensive. You better be calling it the Eagles now. And they changed it. And it's my understanding that there were, because we do have a big tribal community here in southeastern Michigan. They have their powwow every year where they do the reading of the rolls, where they name off all of the living descendants of the Indians, the Native Americans. And they were upset. They appreciated that an institution of higher learning was named after them. they found that as something to honor them, and a lawyer came along and said, "No, you should be offended," and that's what happened.
Yes. The lawyer was white.
Probably. Talking about a goat, Antoine says the real measure of a player is their ability to work for a second contract.
Aaron Rodgers broke his ACL on purpose.
Connor's taking a little shot at you. Better start eating, Mac.
Hey, I'm 20 pounds down since my birthday. I started,
yeah.
I started counting calories. I started fasting for 16 hours a day.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
no, you got to put weight on, I think is what he's saying.
Well, I'm in a cut phase right now. And then
Oh, yeah.
when we start getting closer to beach season, then I'm going to bulk up.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Mac's a pretty big guy. You're 6'2" now? Almost 6'2"?
I've been almost 6'2" for 10, 15 years.
Sure. So I'm right. I'm 5'8.5", so I look up to Mac.
A lot.
Connor also says, surprised, but not really about Braden going UDFA.
I guess. I don't know. I kind of thought that like all of Michigan's linemen would get drafted. But
well, all of them that entered the draft got drafted. Well, they didn't all get drafted, but they all got taken anyway.
Yeah, but I thought that the linemen would be some of the first to go, honestly.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, if you've got those skill position players that are really good, it is kind of funny to me, though, that as soon as the draft is over, within like an hour, everybody from Michigan who wasn't drafted still got a contract.
Still got picked up, yeah. I think all of the, eventually all of OSU's guys got picked up too.
Okay.
I'm not sure who else. But, yeah. Blue Wolverine is out there. Blue Wolverine, how are you doing? Good to see you.
What's up, buddy?
But yeah, a lot of people thought, well, I guess I shouldn't say that. We JJ McCarthy fans, we thought that JJ might go more first, second pick, and he dropped down to, what was he, 7th?
10th?
Wait a minute. I lost the number. Oh yeah, you're right, 10th. So he went 10th pick.
Yeah.
But to me at first it was, and I know we touched on this a little bit already, but we can cover in a little bit more detail. Like I said, I really expected that Harbaugh would snatch up JJ McCarthy, but I didn't have a complete understanding of what the Chargers needed as far as players, O-line, D-line, and all that. They didn't really need a quarterback. So he passed on JJ, which now that I'm thinking about it, is probably good for JJ, right?
Oh, well, JJ got to go where he wanted to go. God only knows why he wanted to go to Minnesota, but he did, and he got there. So there you go.
Well, he said in an interview he actually wanted to go to Minnesota for Kevin O'Connell. He was also, what is he? He's 39 years old. He's one of the youngest coaches, I believe, in the NFL, or pretty young for a coach in the NFL. But yeah, he said he's seen Kevin O'Connell's strategies in that, and he's really impressed by it and really wanted to be a part of it. So that's where he wanted to be. And Harbaugh was like gushing over him, saying he was so happy for him and thought it was great that he loves JJ like a son.
That's awesome. Man,
yeah.
That's awesome. I love that.
Yep. And we can also add in here, depending on what you want to talk about, the whole Kirk Cousins, Michael Penix kerfluffle.
We'll get to that.
We'll get to that. All right. Well, what else do you want to add about JJ here and going to the Vikings?
Well, okay. So obviously happy for JJ. Kid totally deserves it. Really wish he had come back for one more year, but that's only because I selfishly wanted to watch him play in the winged helmet for one more season. I think it's really funny because I found an article about it as I was researching what JJ brings to the Vikings. And I found an article that actually said that this particular pick, they graded the draft picks. And I can't remember who wrote the article, but they graded the draft picks, and they actually said that JJ McCarthy to the Vikings was his least favorite pick. And obviously that piqued my interest, so I looked into it. And he says, quote, I'm going to read just a second here. This is not a bad pick exactly, but McCarthy needs to show more before we can have full confidence that the Vikings got their guy. So national championship's not enough for you? All right. He has some nice arm talent and had real highs at Michigan, like a national championship, but generally wasn't asked to be the driver of the offense. McCarthy is going to need seasoning, and head coach Kevin O'Connell might be the guy to pull whatever latent potential is sitting there. We all know that JJ McCarthy has a lot of untapped potential because Michigan was built in such a way that they didn't need him to be everything that he could possibly be. So if what you're saying to me is, oh, I don't know if JJ McCarthy can be the type of quarterback that if all hell breaks loose and the Vikings football team falls apart around him into shambles and the game comes down to whether or not JJ McCarthy can single-handedly defeat all 11 players on defense, then you're right. I don't know. But in my opinion, McCarthy was absolutely put in the driver's seat every single time he was asked to jumpstart Michigan's offense in the second half. Michigan had a lot of second half lull situations. And honestly, that was kind of concerning. I did not think that they were going to win a national championship because of that. But it was his heroics in the Rose Bowl, both on that running back pass play on that fourth down on the final drive. Gutsy call, but he delivered. And that ended up setting up the game-winning touchdown or the game-tying touchdown. And then they won it in overtime. I mean, it was his run up the middle on third down in the shadow of their own end zone during the national championship game, I think in the fourth quarter at that point, that really got them out of a bad situation. I mean, the momentum was shifting into Washington's favor, and JJ McCarthy needed to make a play. It was third down. It was like third down and 11. So you got to do something, and he absolutely did it. It was JJ McCarthy who threaded the needle to Roman Wilson against Ohio State to give them the 2-score lead in the second quarter of that game. The one that Denzel Burke thinks that he picked off. Turns out you can't pick off a ball that's been caught in the end zone. So I guess, if what he means is that JJ McCarthy was never constantly asked to bail out Michigan, then yeah, he's absolutely right. But he was asked to lead an offense that at the time, sometimes it would sputter and needed a spark, and he provided that for them. So I have no idea what this guy's talking about.
Yeah. Well, Connor agrees with you. He said if Charles McDonald hates on your pick, then that pick has Hall of Famer potential. So yeah. Jumping back here, Connor's on a roll here. He says, well, he's 6'4", 240 pounds. So yeah. Jason Kelsey is 6'3", 295.
Ooh.
Good night.
That's
a big person.
People like that exist.
They do. Oh, you remember Lou Ferrigno when he was competing? I mean, he really was the Hulk. He was, 6'7", 330, 340? He was huge. And then Hulk Hogan is even bigger than that.
Jeez.
These guys are monsters.
Yeah. Not natties, though.
No. Let's see. Oh, Antoine says...
That means not natural.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, like they might be on steroids. Hulk Hogan, anyway.
Maybe.
I don't know about Lou Ferrigno. Maybe not. But
maybe. I don't know. Antoine says JJ actually went to the best situation. If you would have went any earlier, he would have went to a doo-doo team.
That's absolutely correct, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for JJ, it was probably the exact right situation because I feel like the Vikings actually have some pretty solid talent. The NFC North might be the best division in the NFL next year.
Yeah.
It's coming from a guy who doesn't know a lot about anything other than the Lions, and even then,
Yeah. We got to start watching the Michigan Panthers, though. I caught the highlights from Sunday's game, and they look pretty good.
They looked good, yeah.
Yeah, they're 4-3 now.
Oh, really?
5 and wait a minute. They were 3-2. They're 3-2.
Okay.
Yeah. Connor says actually it was 3rd and 14. JJ ran for 15.
Yep, that's right.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
And that one Lions pick, 6'7", 350 pounds. That's a human being, I think.
What? Who is that?
I don't know. Connor, who was that? Drop that in the chat there. I missed that one.
Jeez.
It's funny. We're spending so much time paying attention to where the Michigan guys are going. We forgot to look at who the Lions were picking. That should be important to us.
It should be, but we're not running a Lions channel. Who cares?
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what we'll do. We'll start a Lions channel and a Panthers channel. We'll get them all covered there.
Yeah, and then I'll quit my job and my student loans will pay for themselves. And
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
yeah.
Let us jump over to the transfer portal.
The transfer portal.
So, in the transfer portal, we're checking the transfer portal here. There was speculation early on, and you can correct me if this was. I don't know how many different people were speculating what, but I know it was out there that they were saying that the transfer portal was going to be a mass exodus for Michigan, and it was going to prove that Sharon Moore could not keep the team together. And it was going to be a bellwether for Sharon Moore as head coach. That he was going to lose everybody in the transfer portal and have to scramble to put a team together for this fall. Mac, the portal closes tomorrow. What's happened so far? How many losses and gains, and how is that going to impact Michigan?
I got to figure out how many losses exactly because I can't remember.
You can't remember? Why didn't you write it down, man?
Because I didn't think I would need to. I didn't know there was going to be a test.
All right. Well, while you're looking that up, I forgot we were going to mention the Kirk Cousins, Michael Penix Jr. thing.
Oh, yeah.
Which I thought was hilarious that when Michael Penix Jr. got picked for Atlanta, and then all of a sudden I saw the news pop up that Kirk Cousins had just been drafted to Atlanta. And I thought, well, maybe they just need a backup quarterback. And then it turns out that Kirk Cousins had no idea this was going to happen. He thought he was, the quarterback. And now all of a sudden they're picking another quarterback for Atlanta. And either it means that the guy doing the picks for Atlanta doesn't know what he's doing and pick somebody they didn't need, or Kirk Cousins might want to be looking for another job.
No, he's got a guaranteed contract. He's got like a $180 million contract. All of that guaranteed, but it's a stupid amount of money. And I think he's got a stupid amount of money that is guaranteed too. So
right.
I don't think he needs to look for another job. I think he pretty much got himself set up.
So then why did they go for Michael Penix Jr.?
I don't know. Nobody knows. And it's not Michael Penix's fault. He's a great kid. He's a great quarterback. But I don't know. I don't know why they would bring in two starting quarterbacks. I mean, as soon as Michael Penix might end up just wanting to ask to get released because how long is he going to want to sit behind Kirk Cousins? Because he's got starting potential.
Right.
So I don't know. That was so dumb of them.
It was, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Do you have transfer portal data for us?
I do.
All right. Lay it on us.
All right. So right now there are 16 total players from Michigan in the transfer portal. Not great, but definitely not horrible. There's a whole bunch that we already knew about. So the ones that we didn't know about, I can list off real quick here. So for starters, we've got DJ Waller. DJ Waller was a former 3-star recruit. He was going to be projected to be the starting cornerback opposite Will Johnson. According to Isaiah Hull, a lot of his insiders basically said that no one really saw this coming, but that's kind of how the transfer portal works. It's not really a doom and gloom situation like a lot of Ohio State pundits are saying. And apparently DJ Waller decided to commit to Kentucky. I don't know. That's an interesting one to me.
Mm-hmm.
So far to this point, he is the only prospective starter to hit the portal for Michigan. Now, Isaiah Hull said pretty much what I was thinking while I was listening to Isaiah Hull's podcast. But I went back and I looked at some of the Michigan spring game highlights because he mentioned it and I wanted to see if this was really the case. Jair Hill was really the name that we were hearing called over and over again during the spring game. It doesn't sound like it was a situation that DJ Waller was passed up by Jair Hill for the starting cornerback position. So I guess to me, that kind of sounds like DJ Waller wasn't really sure himself whether or not he was going to get the starting position, or there's a hefty NIL package coming for him. And it might be a combination of he didn't have a good spring game and that kind of sucks. So he wasn't sure where he stood with the depth chart. And then some other agent comes along and says, hey, we've got a multi-million-dollar NIL package for you. Would you like that? Or something like that. I don't know. In my opinion, though, so again, it was Jair Hill that had that huge pass breakup against Peyton O'Leary on that 4th and 7. That was a crazy awesome throw by Jaden Davis. Absolutely beautifully thrown ball. It was an amazing catch until Jair Hill knocked it out of his hands, a la Mikey Sanders against Cade Stover in 2022. I will never not bring that up as a comparison. There is some depth and some flexibility with the defense. Now, this is actually less so the case now because Samaj Bridgman, another DB, just entered the transfer portal as well, but we'll get to that in a minute.
DB, or I think he's a linebacker.
Yeah, defensive back, linebacker. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It does sound like Jaden McBurrows might be able to move around back there somewhere, helping flesh that out a little bit just from a depth chart point. There's also the fact that Amorion Walker, who is actually a Michigan receiver. No, he was a cornerback at one point. Yeah, he was
cornerback.
He transferred to Ole Miss just after the national championship game, I believe it was, and has actually already re-entered the transfer portal. And Michigan is now the favorite to land him. So maybe Amorion Walker can come back and kind of help flesh that out a little bit. But it would be interesting because he first off, he never played a down of football at Ole Miss. So if Michigan is the favorite to land him, I don't know. I think that's really funny to me. But the crappy thing is that Amorion Walker actually didn't really have a very good spring game in 2023 either. So that, I don't know, he might not actually do very well, but hopefully he's progressed a little bit. But in any case, Sharon Moore is also singing the praises of Jair Hill. So that's good. Jeremiah Beasley has also entered the transfer portal. He's a freshman, 4-star from Belleville. Initially, he was actually leaning towards Michigan State in his recruitment, but eventually chose Michigan. He had practiced with the team during bowl prep, according to Tony Garcia of the Detroit Kinda Free But Not Really Press. Again, this is another frustrating loss, but it's not really the end of the world. We still have Ernest Hausman. He had a very good 2023. They did bring in the Maryland transfer, Jayshawn Barham. There's a number of other names filling out the linebacker depth chart. That could be potentially some of the reason for Beasley transferring. Not really sure. Again, Samaj Bridgman is out now, so maybe Beasley comes back. But either way, this could even be more of a reason for Amorion Walker to transfer back to Michigan too. And then finally, we have Amir Herring. He was a former 4-star interior O-lineman. He played 1 snap in 2023. That was against Indiana. And so we'll be honest here, Michigan's O-line has not exactly lacked in depth and probably still doesn't this season. Some of the research that I did I got a lot of my information from Isaiah Hole, so I'm kind of just mentioning what he's mentioning and then kind of looked at some of the depth chart myself. And since I don't recognize a lot of the names, that's where I'm at. But what he was saying is that Michigan is bringing in Northwestern transfer Josh Preeb, and then they still have Giovanni El-Hadi. Giovanni El-Hadi, I thought he was a starter. He wasn't actually a starter last year. He was just, he's a senior, but he wasn't a starter last year. So they're bringing in a lot of experience, or they're keeping a lot of experience on the O-line, which is really good. So either way, losing Amir Herring, it kind of sucks for the future, but for right now, I think that they're good. They'll just need to bring in potentially some more recruits if they can get them on the O-line to make sure that they continue having some depth there. But either way, those are the 3 guys. They did bring in a kicker from the transfer portal, which was absolutely necessary because I believe Adam Samaha is his name, the kicker right now. He was 1 for 2 during the spring game. hit a 30-yarder, missed a 30-yarder. Not a great performance. Don't love that. But they bring in kicker Dominic Zavada, who was a 2023 Lou Groza watch list on the watch list, according to Eric Rutter of Wolverine Digest. He's from Arkansas State. He went 17 of 22 for field goals. So not exactly the Jake Moody kind of thing that we're used to here at Michigan, but still very good. He was even Sun Belt Special Teams Player of the Week twice in 2023 and went 100% on 41 point after touchdown kicks.
Excellent.
So yeah.
So if you had to grade Michigan's offense and defense in comparison to what we saw in the spring game, how do you think they're doing now with the transfer portal closing?
They haven't lost anybody truly, let's say, impactful.
Okay.
I think they've mainly lost players that are filling out the depth chart. So they haven't lost any like actual starters on offense. They haven't lost any for sure starters on defense. I mean, I know we were just talking about DJ Waller. DJ Waller, they thought he was going to start it. He was a prospective starter, but he hadn't exactly won the job yet. So we don't know. And again, it was Jair Hill that was the one that had a really good spring game. So in any case, Michigan's really not suffering that much as far as transfer portal losses are concerned, except for wide receiver. We've talked about this on the show already. Carmelo English, Iman Davis, there was one more, Darius Clemens, have all transferred out and are already enrolled at their next institutions. So that sucks. The thing was, though, is that makes this kind of interesting is if Amorion Walker does come back to Michigan, he was going to transition from cornerback to wide receiver for Ole Miss. So maybe he comes back to Michigan and is either a receiver or fleshes out some of the defense a little bit, or does both. He could be a two-way player. That would be really interesting.
All right. Digging into a couple of the chats here. Going back to Cousins. Blue Wolverine says Cousins is injury prone. I guess I hadn't watched enough to know that. Is that what you've heard?
Actually, yeah, I think that's true. I don't know a lot, but I'm pretty sure that's true.
Yeah.
Which sucks because he's a great quarterback.
Yeah. Mac 77 says he thinks he got $1 million guaranteed for Cousins. $100 million.
Holy crap.
Yeah. With regard to the transfer portal, Antoine says everybody has to deal with the portal. These players don't have the fortitude to stick with it. They don't want to wait their turn. Instead, they want to go. I agree with that in part. I think maybe Kyle McCord is an example of that. He wanted that starting spot and wasn't going to get it, or wasn't guaranteed that he was going to get it, and so he went over to Syracuse. I don't know if that's the case for all of them necessarily. Maybe they see an opportunity to go to a school that they would rather be at. Mm-hmm. I know that the whole idea of loyalty, like Antoine is right. The idea of loyalty maybe is gone because college football isn't regional anymore. So, I don't know, anything you want to add to that?
No, I think you got it. I mean, loyalty is an interesting thing because, these players transfer for a multitude of reasons. Sometimes they just transfer because it's the best situation for them. I mean, you really don't know.
Yeah.
And honestly, I mean, if you were in the position where you were, a highly touted recruit and that you have the chance to start on a different team immediately. Yeah. I mean, I get it.
Counter Stallions says the funniest take I heard was Mason Graham, Kenneth Grant, and Will Johnson were transferring to them down south, and Colston Loveland was going to transfer to Oregon. I couldn't laugh harder at that take.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Buckeye Scoop actually thought that Will Johnson was going to transfer to Ohio State. Like,
oh yeah,
give me a break. You guys need therapy, like lots of it. Like seriously, get help.
Well, okay, so here's the next one. C. Neal. C. Neal apparently is not a Michigan fan. It's all doom and gloom, clickbait, development U, blah. And then he immediately says, I'll see myself out. You don't have to leave. We don't mind you being here talking trash. That's what we do here. We talk trash. So hang out. Subscribe.
Yeah. Become a member even.
Become a member. Antoine says that Samaj Bridgman is a linebacker. He's inconsequential.
Yeah, but I don't want to be losing depth,
Yeah.
Get any injuries on the defense. I heard somewhere that DB is actually the most injury prone position in football. So,
All right.
yeah.
That would be interesting to look at. Yeah.
Yeah.
Blue Wolverine points out that Team 144 was very loyal to each other. Yeah, that's absolutely true. They all said that they wanted to come back unfinished business. So yeah, so there is that too. That was pretty cool. That's what made Team 144 great. That's how they were able to do what they did. What is this? It's very telling you knew he was talking about the scoop.
It's pretty easy to suss out.
Sometimes it's easy to tell, yeah. And then Sean Schrock just put 3 laughing emojis.
I probably said something funny.
Probably.
Yeah. Like the Buckeye Scoop.
Like Buckeye Scoop. And Blue Wolverine says, the tabloid to the south, broken.
They seriously do need help. I don't understand them at all. They say things with a straight face that I think if anyone else said that in any other context, they would be institutionalized.
Yep. All right. In the interest of keeping track of everybody's time here, being sensitive to everybody's time, we're going to hit story number 3, our bonus story here. This comes from Sports Illustrated. Well, it comes from Sports Illustrated. That's the story we're looking at. College football adds 2-minute warning helmet communication for the 2024 season and the sideline tablets. So these are the new rules for the 2024 season. And the sideline tablets, at least, have already been used in the 2023 bowl games. I want to point this out because I think this is important because we're not here to trash these rules, but we do kind of look at the pros and cons. And when rules first come out, I think there's a tendency to talk them down and like say, why do we need that? Why do we need more rules? It's just making the game more complicated. Whatever axiom you want to insert in there. So we'll keep that in mind while we're discussing it as we're talking pros and cons, but that's really the direction we want to go with this. The first one we're going to look at is the 2-minute rule. So here's what Ryan Phillips reported as the 2-minute warnings will come at the end of the second and fourth quarters, just like in NFL games. Unlike the pro game, those stoppages will not add additional TV timeouts. That part is very important. It will be an open spot for a media timeout if necessary, but will not add another slot for a break. The change gives trailing teams another stoppage when attempting to come from behind and should create a more exciting end-of-game scenario. So what I found out, I was trying to look into see if how coaches and players were reacting to this. The rule is supposed to avoid, as it says here, the doubling up of commercial breaks. So you've seen it before where you get into those last couple of minutes, and you'll have a touchdown, a commercial break, and then they'll come back, they'll do the kickoff, and then go to a commercial break.
Yeah.
And you feel like, we just saw these commercials. So this is supposed to help alleviate some of that. I don't know how exactly, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. Some coaches are worried that it's going to give a free 2-minute timeout to the team that's behind. But as you see here, it's supposed to make that ending more exciting. You're not going to please everybody, of course, but Mac, how do you think this rule will affect the game, and is it even necessary?
Well, no, it's not necessary, but of course coaches are going to have an issue with it if they're leading and then the other team gets a free timeout. Like, yeah, of course they're going to have an issue with it. Now, for us as the viewer, it might make it a little bit more exciting, but I don't really know how. Does the 2-minute warning really affect that much? I mean, for an NFL game, if there's a team that's down by 1 touchdown and potentially driving, does a 2-minute warning really do anything for them?
I don't know. I mean, we're so used to it with the NFL. I guess they have their 2-minute drills. I mean, they do 2-minute drills in college too, but I guess the idea there with the 2-minute warning was just basically. I guess you can see it in the NFL because the idea in an NFL game is you never want to get too far ahead because you're trying to keep people watching the game. So I think this is why it hasn't been in college football, because heretofore college football hasn't been about necessarily the almighty dollar, but the NFL has always been a business. And if one team gets too far ahead, then people stop watching. So the 2-minute warning kind of is that whole, it stops the action, gives the team time to calm down, and then the trailing team a chance to come back.
But I guess that's one of the cool things. I don't know. I don't care. Yeah, it'll probably make the game more exciting. I feel bad for the coaches that get shafted because their team's up by a touchdown with 2 minutes left in the game and the other team is out of timeouts and, oh, they just got a free timeout and now they call a Hail Mary and boom, the game's tied. Like, yeah, I feel bad for them in that kind of a scenario, but I don't know that as a fan I care necessarily. As long as they're not using it to just show more commercials. Because they're already doing everything that they can to make the game shorter. But the actual like broadcasts of the game are still 3 hours long. And so, and that's because of commercials. So as long as they're not doing this to add more commercials, then fine, do it. I don't care. Knock yourselves out. But as soon as they start showing commercials, I'm gonna be ticked.
Yeah.
And I guarantee that they will start showing commercials.
Yep. Just real quick, your microphone is kind of, it's not cutting out, but it's sort of fading out a little bit and then it comes back. If you got a wiggly cable there or not. I want to grab a couple chats here before we go to the next rule. Once again, thank you, Blue Wolverine, for the super chat. Really appreciate that. Yeah, click like on the video, like, subscribe, chat even. Thank you, Blue Wolverine. You're the best. Connor says, depends, Mac. Is that team you're talking about good, like the Chiefs, or awful, like the Carolina Panthers?
I'm thinking more in the neighborhood of a Seattle Seahawks, where you never really know what you're going to get from week to week.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
And like last year, the Lions really let us down because we used to expect them to lose, and they kept winning. How dare they?
I know. I don't get it. I kept winning money because of them.
Yeah. Blue Wolverine says, didn't they change the timeout rule last year where you cannot call back-to-back timeouts, icing the kicker at the end of the game? This negates that in some scenarios. Yes, that is still in place. You cannot call back-to-back timeouts. They changed the, what was it? Stopping the clock after a first down. In the last 2 minutes, I believe.
The clock runs on a first down until the last 2 minutes of the second and fourth quarters, I want to say.
Oh, was it just the fourth quarter, or was it, because I thought it was the end of the second and fourth quarter?
Isn't that what I said?
Oh, is that what you said? I thought you said
second and
third.
Fourth.
All right.
Yeah.
Anyway, there you go. The next rule is the helmet communication, and this rule has widely been seen as an answer to sign stealing because apparently some team was involved in that.
You're welcome, America.
It's potentially a way to end sign stealing altogether, although several coaches have said this isn't going to end sign stealing. They're still going to have to use signs, just not as much. But the rule is very interesting. So one player on the field can use the technology and communication would be cut off with 15 seconds remaining on the play clock or when the ball is snapped. Conferences will be in charge of hiring, assigning, and managing the cutoff operators. A team may use the communication devices even if opponent chooses not to, but if one team's devices go down, both must stop using them. This rule, as much as... I'm not sure if I love this rule or not. I mean, like you said, you're welcome, America. Michigan has brought you helmet communication, but this almost seems like you have to have not just a hurry up offense, but you have to have a light speed hurry up offense. You got to be ready to go instantaneously when that clock starts, when that play clock starts. Because they've only got 40 seconds, and I swear half the time 10 seconds rolls off the clock before most of those teams even line up. And then you've got 15 seconds to get something into that microphone. And then they got to do it. I don't know. I feel like they've I feel like there's a potential that this is going to make it even more complicated, but I don't know. What do you think?
I think that's normal. I mean, I think that's how the NFL does it, although I don't know
Yeah,
when they cut off communication. Um,
right. I was
I,
not aware that they did that. I thought that
yeah,
they had it all the whole time.
I thought they did too. I think it's really funny though that they cut off communication either with 15 seconds left or when the ball is snapped. I could just see like if they didn't cut off communication, quarterback snaps the ball and the coach is in his ear, run, run, run,
The other way, the other way.
the other way. He's coming at you from the left. Dodge, weave, parry.
Now I did see. I looked up to see how the coaches are reacting to this, and because only one player at a time can have a helmet, Ryan Day is already talking about having two helmets, one for offense, one for defense, which makes sense. Because you certainly don't want those guys sharing helmets. Gross.
Yo.
Lane Kiffin at Ole Miss, he's not very excited about it, and he calls it a cheat code for the offense. Now, when you're talking about cheat codes in a video game, that's great for the player. I don't know if you'd say it's bad for the game, but I think in this case, since the other side is another team, when he says cheat code, he means that you're giving another advantage to the offense.
But the defense gets to use it too.
Yeah, I mean that's what Lane Kiffin said. So
I don't. They do it in the NFL just fine. They can do it in college.
Yeah.
They do it in high school in some places. Like, give me a break.
Well, and okay, so Billy Napier at Florida, he's really excited about it.
Good for him.
So
I'm so happy for him.
I think this is going to be one of those things. The 2-minute rule I think is going to be easier for them to figure out. The helmet communication one I think is going to take. I guess I don't know how fast these guys pick things up necessarily, but I think we're looking at a couple of seasons for that to really sort of work itself out to where the players actually get used to it, and the players and the coaches get used to it to where they can use it properly.
I don't know. I guess what I've heard is that a lot of these recruits are coming from high schools where they already use helmet communication. Because that was the thing is that
that's right. I forgot about that.
It's used in high school, it's used in the NFL, and college is over here like, it's the 1870s. We're going to use pictures, guys.
I wonder how many high schools, though, have the money for that.
The ones where the recruits are coming from.
Okay, yeah, I get it.
And all of those big name schools, Catholic Central, and I mean, I don't know. I don't think that it's going to take very much for them to. I mean, what's there to get used to? Like the quarterback's got a speaker in his ear, and he's able to talk to the coach. Like, hey, coach, what do you want me to run? I want you to hand the ball off. Okay, we're handing the ball off. All right, here we go.
Yep. Well, okay, let's try this. The coach is trying to get the play to the quarterback. Clock is ticking down. 18, 17. Okay, I want you to run slot. 15. Click. Wait a minute. Did you want me to go to the right or the left?
I mean,
there's a scenario for you.
Well,
the play gets cut off right at the last communication.
We'll get the play in faster.
Well, I know, but I mean that's what they have to get used to because they used to have 40 seconds to get the play in. Now they've got 25 seconds to get the play in.
Not necessarily.
Well, why not?
Because more often than not, the quarterback is not the one that needs to recover from the prior play. Secondly, if the quarterback does get tackled, how long does it take for him to get up off the field? Like, you can get up and they immediately look at the sideline. I mean, remember Ohio State's offenses, especially under Urban Meyer, would have a play in every 5-10 seconds. Like, they would snap the ball. There was a point where they were snapping the ball like 8 seconds after the prior play ended. I mean, very, very quickly. And there are teams that do that now too. I think Air Force, actually, we were just talking about Air Force, is one of those teams that literally has an entire other team run onto the field and replace the first one like every couple of plays. Right. And they run another play within like 10 seconds.
Yeah.
So I have absolutely zero issue with this, and I don't think anyone's going to need to get used to it.
All right. I'm just waiting for some quarterback to get, targeted, and it's going to bust the microphone or the headset. And I'm going to be, we don't have another helmet. Okay, nobody uses it. You're done.
That'd be funny if the ref went over, like, the ref calls targeting and then walks back out to the middle of the field. Okay, so on the targeting play, the defender broke the communication device for the quarterback, which means that the defense now can no longer use their microphone system. So
the mics are down.
The mics are down. 15-yard penalty, the player's disqualified. Also, you owe them a new microphone.
You owe me a new microphone. Okay. Let's grab a couple of chats here. Blue Wolverine says, why hasn't anyone put Michigan brand hammers on the market yet and sell them in Columbus? I would like to do this. I'm going to get out my workshop and start making hammers and sell them. And hey, maybe if, our first handful of memberships, we're going to have to decide. Maybe we can give some of those away to the first members.
Oh, yeah. Like the first 5 members all get a hammer.
Something like that.
I don't know. We'd have to figure that out because then we'd need to get people's addresses.
Right.
Yeah.
And my mouse just died. So let's see.
Uh-oh.
Connor says the bipolar disorder hawks.
Seattle.
Oh, wait a minute. That's not the one. I'm trying to do this with my left hand now. You're welcome, everybody.
It's hard.
Max77 says a year late on the communication change.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like you said, they've got it in high school and the NFL. Why don't they have it in? Why is it taking so long to get it here?
Yeah, it's wild. Are you trying to fix your mouse now?
Yep. It's just completely gone. It won't come back. All right, well, I'll figure this out.
It's dead. That's what happens.
It's not dead. The light is still on.
Oh, well, then you need a new laptop.
Oh, wait a minute. Now it just shut off. Ryan Day needs a helmet. Yeah. Maybe that'll work.
Ryan Day needs a helmet for a multitude of reasons.
Oh, I see what I did. I can actually, my mouse has 3 settings on it. One for Bluetooth, and then the other 2. No, I'm sorry. One is wired and the other 2 are Bluetooth, and I had it set on 3 instead of 2. Anyway, nobody needs to know any of this. But it's working now. Connor says, wait, we're taking Lane Kiffin's opinion seriously?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I just shouldn't have, I guess.
You need to stop. You've never been more wrong about anything in your entire life. You have disgraced your family. Your mother is disappointed in you.
Hey, we're talking about my mother. That's your grandma you're talking about.
That's correct. That's how biology works.
That is right.
Or genealogy.
Connor says Tennessee runs a sugar huddle type of offense. No huddle offense type. Sugar huddle?
Is that
What's
why
the sugar huddle offense?
I don't know. I've never heard of that.
I gotta start writing these things down.
You know what they should do with that then? Okay, so Tennessee runs a sugar huddle type of offense. They should name the plays after sugary pastries. Like, all right, now we're gonna run a donut 42 to the right. Really hit that donut hole, guys.
Hit the donut hole. You gotta. Never mind. That's gonna go bad real fast. Yeah. All right. The next rule is the sideline tablets. Now, there's an interesting note on this one. Like I said earlier, Maryland has already started using these in their 23 bowl game.
They did?
Yeah.
That's cheating.
No, they like, I don't know. I lost it. They approved it.
Advantage?
They approved it earlier.
Oh.
So they were able to do that.
I think they're just a bunch of cheaters.
But Mike Loxley said that it made for at least one uncomfortable situation because he saw on the tablet where a ref had missed a play, missed a holding call, and he desperately wanted to go to the ref and show it to him, but you can't do that.
Why?
Because that's interfering with the refs, I guess. But this is okay. So this is going to be the downfall of this one, or maybe not the downfall, but this is what's going to make this one so difficult. But here, let me read this. So, allowing the use of sideline tablets for viewing in-game video, teams will be allowed to use up to 18 tablets, and the videos could include broadcast feeds and multiple other angles. That is different from NFL rules, which only allow images on the tablets.
Images?
So still images, yeah. So they're gonna be allowed to look at whatever feeds they can get, and they've got 18 tablets. And so yeah, so if they see a ref make a bad call, they've got the evidence there, but they can't take it to the ref because the ref can only look at the replay from the booth.
But they can challenge a play.
Yes, that would give them more encouragement to challenge a play. So
Okay.
but I'm also wondering, and maybe I'm going too far on this one, but this one almost seems like it gives sign stealers an edge because now they're going to have more video to work with. But what I'm also wondering is if these tablets are getting sideline shots, is that more data for schools to sell to each other, like they're already doing that nobody talks about except for the coaches who are talking anonymously? What do you think?
But sign stealing is a
It's
horrible
bad.
advantage that's going to get players hurt. Represents like a 14 point advantage.
Yep.
That's so stupid.
Yeah.
I just whatever. What was your question? I can't remember.
Well, what do you think? So we're talking about each one of these rules as to how they'll impact the game, if they're good or not, and what's your thought on them? What do you think?
I think they're all great. I mean, like I said, with the 2-minute warning, as soon as they start showing commercials, I'll riot. If the sideline tablet becomes a situation where coaches are I don't even know what bad could come from this, except for the fact that every game at least one tablet's going to get trashed. So I mean that increases the amount that they put towards electronics every season, which inevitably means that ticket prices are going to go up. So thanks a lot, guys. But no, I'm just kind of stuck on the fact that the NFL only allows images on those tablets. That makes no sense to me. What can you learn from an image?
Yeah. I don't know. Some of these things, like you said, to me, it's like they have to now hire more staff to make these things run smoothly, or maybe they've got a lot of people just standing on the sidelines, not really doing anything. And so this will be something for them to do. I suppose that players will probably grab a couple of tablets, like offense players will grab a couple of tablets when the defense is out, and they'll go back and review stuff.
Yeah.
But there's a problem there too, because you can get to a point where you have data overload, and you can run into this in any situation where it's almost like if you have too much information, it causes paralysis by analysis. And I'm wondering how many players are going to have to be told, don't look at the tablet too much, because you're going to overthink it, and you're going to get out there and you're not going to play your game. You're going to think, okay, what did I just see on the tablet? Okay, now I've got to do this, rather than just reading the field like they're taught to do.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. I could definitely see like the young kids kind of getting in their own heads rather than actually learning from what they're looking at. They're over analyzing and then getting nervous or something like that.
Right.
But I don't know. I mean, to me, these rules all represent new opportunities for coaches to kind of change how they're coaching the game. But at the same time, it also feels like these are all individual little steps to turn the game more into an NFL-like product, which then just inevitably means that we're going to the 80-team Super League and to relegation.
Yep.
I feel like that's what they're doing. I feel like somebody behind the scenes is just kind of manipulating the strings a little bit and saying, all right, in 2024, we're going to implement these rules. And then in 2026, we're going to have a 50 bajillion team playoff. And then everybody's going to be like, oh my gosh, this playoff is insane. We need a relegation. And then we're going to be like, we'll give it to you. That's the master plan.
Yeah, step by step, we get there.
Yeah, that's what I think is.
All right. Let's grab a few chats here. Okay. So Connor says Tennessee runs a... Oh, wait a minute. I already did that one. He explained it here somewhere.
Yeah, Kurt Warner.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
Kurt Warner, the Hall of Fame QB, calls it a sugar huddle. He knows a little bit about football.
A little bit.
I'm sure he does, but what does it mean?
I don't know. I don't know.
Connor also says you can't do that. You'll hurt the ref's feelings. Yeah. Well, there's that too. Hey, ref, did you see this? Idiot.
Oh, that's what we should do. We should do an emoji. We'll do an emoji that's just a picture of a ref with the caption "idiot."
The third team.
Yes.
Connor Stallion says, "Don't let Aaron Rodgers anywhere near tablets or Brady."
Brady hates them tablets, man.
Does he?
Well, actually, he probably liked them, but he would smash one per game, probably. I think something like that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he broke a lot of them, if I remember.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
I'm assuming that's what Aaron Rodgers did too.
I think so. Yeah.
I think I missed
I don't
that.
know. I actively avoided watching Aaron Rodgers play football because I can't stand him.
Because, well, Green Bay.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he just says dumb things sometimes. Like,
does he?
Yeah.
Oh.
He says a couple of things that aren't so dumb, but he said other things that are pretty dumb.
Yeah.
But everybody says dumb things, so I really shouldn't hold that against him. Really, it's just because he was Green Bay's quarterback.
Yeah. That's the biggest problem right there.
It is, yeah.
Blue Wolverine says, "Spot on, prep to become the NFL developmental league." Yes. Yep. Yeah, we've been talking about that the college football, as it gets more and more about money, it's really just the NFL minor leagues. Where that leaves the UFL, I don't know. I feel like the UFL is the current minor leagues.
Pretty much, yeah.
Pretty much. I know a lot of those guys, if they can't get to the NFL, they go to the UFL to sort of build up some skills and hope to get that call up to the NFL, but maybe not. I don't know. If I watched some highlights from this past weekend's UFL games, and I think they're getting a lot better. So there's not a lot of fans in the stands, but I think they're getting better from a watchable game kind of point of view.
Mm-hmm. They're definitely entertaining.
Yeah.
I think like it's good football for sure. I think that their marketing has been pretty solid too. I just think that I don't know. For some reason, I just still think it's a little awkward watching football in the spring.
It is. Yeah. That's kind of the weird part. You're so used to it being a fall game or even a winter game.
Yeah. I feel like they'll need to, like, their thing is they'll just need to last long enough for people to get used to it. And then people will start getting invested in it.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, once you get people to the point where they're buying the merchandise and buying into the pageantry, the traditions.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So the Panthers need some kind of they need a fight song, basically, is what they have to do. Something like that.
We are the Panthers. We're the Owl.
Connor says, "Sugar creates hyper kids. What do kids do when they're hyper? They run all day." All right. Okay, gotcha.
Oh.
So the sugar huddle is to get them hyped up so they run.
So it does have something to do with donuts.
It does, yeah.
That's true. All right. I win.
Blue Wolverine says, "Imagine pre-2022 Harbaugh smashing tablets on the sideline." Yes, I can see that.
Yeah. That would have been legendary.
I'm betting he broke quite a few of them.
Or
would have.
2016 against Ohio State. Harbaugh had the clipboard in his hands and then just behind him.
Oh yeah, didn't it get caught up in his microphone wire?
I think so. He got
because we got tangled up in his headset. I thought.
Yeah, something like that. But imagine if that had been an iPad.
Oh yeah, that would hurt somebody.
Yeah, that would have been funny.
That would have been. All right, everybody. I think that's going to do it for us tonight. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out with us. Remember, let's see, we've got memberships going on. You can now be a member, and then you get those cool emojis, crying Ryan Day and Harbaugh shaking his head.
It's 99 cents, too.
99 cents. You also get the hammer, so you can drop the hammer in all of your chats. What else? We've got Voice of College Football, Michigan Voice of College Football. We're dropping videos over there. It's taking a little time to sort of get the gears running, but we're going to get more content going over there too. Appreciate you guys giving them a watch and a subscribe. We've got plenty more to talk about when it comes to the 24 season. We're keeping an eye on, well, now that the portal is closing, the draft is over, things are going to get kind of quiet from a development point of view, but there'll still be stories going on out there, and we will keep you up to date on those.
Mm-hmm.
As always, leave your comments, leave your chats, let us know what you think, what you want to talk about, and we will talk about it. And I think that's going to do it. Mac, anything else you want to add?
No, thanks for hanging out in the chat. Blue Wolverine, Connor Stallions. Connor Stallions was on it tonight, man.
Yeah, a lot to say.
Appreciate it. Antoine, too. Buckeye Battle Cry, if you guys are still there. Appreciate it.
All right, you guys have a good evening, and we will see you next Monday at 8 p.m. Take care. Go Blue. Mac, take us out.
This is the Big Ten Team Rivalry Show.